Hello, my name is Shannon Bishop, and I teach math at Chandler Gilbert Community College in Chandler, Arizona. I am working on my doctorate degree from 1,135 miles away at Sam Houston State University of Huntsville, Texas. And I'm here today to talk about our sense of belonging and why it's important in life, but also in school. So, feeling like we belong is a basic human need. As early as the 1960s, people began writing about how critical it is in our life to feel like we belong and are accepted. Many people say it's as foundational of a need as things like food, water, and shelter. And it's especially important when we're faced with newness. And so, if you're new to an environment or visiting a new place or really anything involving something feeling new to you, that's when it's especially important that we feel like we belong. And it's also especially important during our late adolescence years when we're discovering who we are and who we want to be. And in an academic setting, our sense of belonging is the extent to which we feel personally accepted, respected, and included and supported by others within our academic and school setting. Now, something to take with caution here is that feeling of belonging is so important that it can actually drive people to do negative things. So that the desire to belong is often the same desire that drives someone to be, a bully or to join a gang or just go along with things that make them feel uncomfortable in general. It's our need to belong that often drives these not positive things in our life. And also, it's to say with caution that we're not trying to say that to belong, we should simply be sticking to our own kind. We're only going to hang out with people that are just like us. We definitely grow from experiences with diverse and different people. And in fact, sticking with those who are like-minded is actually been found to make it more likely that you stop attending college. So it's really important that we branch out and meet new people and grow from those experiences with people that are indeed different than us. So in school, it's like we don't want to feel invisible. We don't want to feel like we completely blend in, we're unnoticed, we're not seen or appreciated for the unique individual that we are. Nobody wants to feel invisible in their life. But at the same time, we don't want to feel like we stand out like a sore thumb either. It doesn't feel good to feel like you're completely different than your peers and have nothing in common with them, and that you're looked at differently. And standing out in that way can also be really negative. And so, what we seek is a balance. Now, in school, we can find that balance by first, most definitely acknowledging, who are we? It's important to know yourself and to know your values and know what's important to you, and feel a strong sense of confidence in who you are. And it definitely is important to find groups that you are naturally drawn to, people that you have things in common with, things or people where you just feel like you can just exist with them and not have to explain yourself, and you just understand each other. That's really important. As is taking time to foster those identities. So doing things that are consistent with your cultural upbringing and things that have always been important to you and things that you've always been interested in, and taking classes that further your knowledge of those things and expand upon your knowledge about these things that have always been important to you and your identity. But at the same time, it's also very important in school that you remain open-minded. As you encounter all these different people, it's important that you embrace those differences and grow from them. And it's important that you seek opportunities for positive and safe engagement with people that are different than you or different from something you might naturally have been drawn to. And also, college is a time to expand your knowledge. It's important to take classes that are going to challenge maybe your existing ideas or your existing ideals. And so, certainly that balance can prove to be critical as you're growing as a student and as a young individual. And certainly finding this balance looks different for everyone. You know, some people might seek the opportunity to put themselves out there and meet new people and grow by, by joining a sorority or a fraternity or seeking out a ton of clubs. Whereas other people might seek new groups and ways to establish their identity and how they belong by just striking up a conversation with a classmate or with somebody in the cafeteria. And so certainly this looks different for everybody, and it would not be fair to look at how a friend or a classmate does it and think, oh, if that worked for them, then this is what I need to do. Certainly it looks different for everyone. And so what I'd like us to do now is just take some time to reflect on the ways that we've experienced these things in our lives so far, and also talk about what it might mean for us moving forward as individuals and as students. So first and foremost, I'd like you to take a minute and write down a time in your life when having someone familiar present helped you feel like you belonged. So having that familiar face really helped you feel safe in that space and helped you feel like you belong. So I'm going to give you a couple minutes to write down your thoughts on that. You can pause this video while you do so, and then when we come back together, we're going to go ahead and share. Okay, so now that we're back, I'd like you to form groups of maybe 3 people and share those experiences that you jotted down with your classmates, with your peers, and just engage in a conversation about how this has happened and affected you so far in your life. Okay, and the next activity I'd like us to reflect on and share is kind of the exact opposite. So can you please write down a time in your life when you felt like you really grew from being in a place where you felt very different or out of place compared to the setting that you were in? What about that experience was challenging for you? What things did you gain from it? Anything positive come of it? So I'm going to give you a few minutes to write down your experiences with this one. And so once again, you can pause this video while you do so. And then when we come back together, we will share again. Okay, welcome back. And if you would please form some groups for me again and share those experiences within your groups and take a few minutes to engage in that conversation. All right, and then last but not least, I'd like this one to just be a reflection. So you don't have to share this one with your peers if you don't want to, but I'd still like us to just reflect on this one. So on a piece of paper, I'd like you to write down one or some aspect of who you are that are just really most important to you right now. And these aspects are things that you believe are just, they're not going to waver regardless of your setting or the groups that you engage with. This is just part of your core identity, and it will likely remain part of your core identity as you grow as a young individual and through your education and beyond. And then I'd also like you to think about what beliefs or identities you might possess that you would like to challenge or learn more about. Is there an area of your life that you would like to experience growth in by putting yourself out there and out of your comfort zone to explore how those experiences might take shape in your life? So if you would please take a minute to reflect on that. I think it's another really important part of acknowledging who we are right now and the parts of us that will likely be foundational to who we are as individuals, but also the areas in which we would like to see ourselves be challenged and grow. All right, thank you guys so much for your time. I hope that you've enjoyed this presentation and that you learned something from it. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Thank you.